Hey everybody, we're going to give you our 30-day review on our saltwater system. The instructions were kind of confusing for us as well as everybody out there. We had lots of questions on, how long to run it, the boost, and everything else. So we even reread the instructions and realized that we were supposed to be running for our size pool a 5-hour time, not a 4-hour time limit. So far I've had, within 3 weeks of having the system, we had a really huge torrential downpour, and I had to come out and empty like right around 2 inches of water out of the pool just to make sure I wasn't going to overflow the pool. I didn't want salt water everywhere, obviously. And then, I keep everything running. I run the chlorinator every day, and with that being said, our levels are still at 2650 right now. 25 to 35 is your optimal. Ideal would be like in the middle around 3,000. We're on the lower end of it, but I'll be honest with you, we've checked it every time we've gotten into it, and all levels are correct. I couldn't be happier. We have not added 1 ounce of any chemicals, shock, or anything since we started. Like we said in the beginning, we had to get everything leveled out like it was supposed to as far as your levels go, your pH, your cyanuric acid, and all that stuff. And then we turned around and added the salt, did the 24-hour thing like we were supposed to, and then we used the boost button. In the beginning, it says to run your boost cycle for the very first time, and it was very confusing for us as well as others. They had a lot of questions on that as well, where when you set your boost for the 5 hours that we were supposed to, that's actually 8 times. So you're looking at 40 hours of run time for your boost cycle for the first time. And with that being said, you need to put your pump in free pump, or FP, excuse me, so it'll run indefinitely until you turn it off. You want to have all that salt water swirled around for 24 hours like the book says, and that worked out pretty good. And like I said, in the past we had rain. We've had a couple of big rains, and I've dumped some water out to not overfill, or the pool to be overflowing, and so far I haven't had to add any salt whatsoever, and I'm still within my ranges. And I do have a bag of salt on hand just in case, but once again, if you have to add salt, just like the book says, you want to run your pump for 24 hours. You need to swirl it around, get it all dissolved, and just let your pump run all night long or all day long or whatever you decide to do. It's a 24-hour time. I absolutely love this machine. I love the saltwater setup versus the chlorine. We were using the Clorox app in the past, and in all honesty, that thing was running us really crazy. We would add things, and then it would say we had to add more of the same thing. And we had seen some reviews on that in the past where people were not very happy with the Clorox app. We do agree with the not being happy at the Clorox app because they were never right. So we went out and got regular test strips and then started using the colors, got all of our chemicals within range like we were supposed to, added our salt, and went to the saltwater system. And I haven't added not one chemical yet in this pool, even with all the downpours that we've had and the water that I've taken out of the pool. I'm still good. I'm in my optimum range of salt water, so I can't complain. And I've not even run the boost cycle at all, not once. Okay, so I actually every day we use the pool, I rinse it down with fresh water. It's an investment, and I don't want the legs to rust out from under us. And we also had someone suggest that we remove the rubber mulch around the footers of the poles to not hold in moisture, which we thought was a really good idea. Thank you very much. So we've since done that, and I'll show you pictures of that soon. I rinse it off every day with the water hose. I go around every pole. I rinse the whole inside and the outside, and it only takes about 10 minutes, and it's well worth the time. So far, I think that we're staying ahead of the saltwater erosion that will eventually happen on all metal frames. I get it, I understand, but we're going to prolong that and enjoy this pool for many years to come. There's a calculation in the Intex instructions. It's a mathematical formula for our size pool, which is 18 by 52. It says that we need to run about 46 pounds extra of salt if we ever have a low salt alarm on our chlorinator. So far we haven't had that. We haven't had high salt. We're doing really well with that. But if you had to do that again, you would obviously go back to step one and run your pump for 24 hours. You know, dissolve it really well within the pool. Let your pump run for 24 hours, like I was saying. And then once that's run for 24 hours, then you would run your boost cycle. And hours would be set for 5 hours like it's supposed to. So that once again, you'd have to run your pump indefinitely or on free pump, FP, for that saltwater chlorinator to run for 40 hours. So that seems like a long time, but that's what they recommend. Obviously, smaller pools are less time, and then bigger pools are going to be a little more, or somewhere maybe down the middle of that. So overall, we really enjoy the saltwater system. Just getting in the pool, having salt water, it feels really good on your skin. It's a nice feeling. And not only that, knowing that you don't always have to add chemicals every time you try to get in the pool and something's out of whack or out of balance or whatever. Having this saltwater system has been huge for us, and I wish we'd have done it earlier. We were just nervous about it in the beginning, but if we'd have known in the beginning that we didn't have to add these chemicals every day, or boost, or cyanuric acid, or whatever we had to add, we got it once, we got it really close or right where we were supposed to be, add the saltwater system, and it's been on cruise control ever since. It's super awesome to know when I come out and check that thing, I have no worries about it being out of whack, because it never is. It hasn't been so far. Now granted, I do run my pump and my system chlorinator every day, except for the rain. We've had some people ask us, for initial setup, or they have a saltwater system from the very beginning. The best thing that I would suggest to anybody that's starting off scratch with a saltwater system and have no chemicals in their pool whatsoever, or even if they do and don't have them balanced, take it to your local pool store, and they'll usually give you a free analysis of what you need, and you can probably buy the chemicals right there on the spot. Get your pool balanced out for the time limits that you're supposed to, get everything correct, and then you can add your salt, and then you will probably never have to go backwards.